All right, so next in my pot set, of course, is the lid, which you can use as a fry pan, which you can use as an alternative as a plate to keep your food warm, like we talked about in the plates when I talked about utensils. So there's a lot of uses for the lid. Of course, when you're boiling water, you want to always make sure that there's a lid on there to boil faster and to keep your food warm. So there's a lot of good uses for the lid in itself. Next up, I have a kettle. And, you know, again, this is probably a luxury item, but I just keep the kettle in a insulated, insulate foam pad, and that just helps keep the water that I've warmed up warmer. So if I want to make tea or coffee or whatever, then it keeps that water warmer without having to keep it on the fire to keep it warm all the time. So it's just an added little thing. Inside here, then I have a coffee strainer, and then I have a measuring cup. So I have an additional cup that I can use then for measuring out food items. And then with that, I have the smaller bowl, and then the larger cooking bowl, pot, rather. And quite frankly, you know, again, you could not take the sink, depending on what you're cooking, and just bring one pot if you needed to. But depending on what you are cooking, you might want a larger bowl, 2 larger bowls too. So it gives you a little more flexibility. All right, and then our next kit that I have is what I call the cleanup kit. And the cleanup kit is basically designed to clean up your dishes. I've got a pot holder. I don't know why I have it in there, but I have the pot holder in there. A thing of matches. I've got some extra extra plastic baggies for uneaten food or spices or packing, you know, extra stuff for garbage, whatever you might need. I find to have little baggies to be pretty handy. SOS pad. So it's a steel wool. I have an emergency fire starter stick, so in case I did need to get a fire going very quickly, I had a fire starter. I've got my chamois here, which I do use apparently sparingly. I like this thing because you can snap it onto the back of your pack or a clothing line or whatever to dry it out. It's cleaner to not use anything to dry your dishes with. It's actually just more sanitary to let it air dry. So this is something that I might use fairly sparingly. But if you need to dry something quick to pack it, I get it. Again, just a little washcloth for cleaning up spills, you know, cleaning your dishes, whatever. I'll scrub. I actually most of the time scrub my pots and pans and clean it with mineral soil or sand as the main scrubber. Over the course of a week or 2 weeks, things like this just get filled with bacteria, are harder to clean and keep sanitary, especially sponges. Sponges just fall apart, they hold bacteria. It's really no good, so I stay away from that kind of thing. I have some concentrated dish soap. Now you can buy camp soap for 3 times the cost, or you can buy concentrated dish soap. Just make sure it's Dawn. It's without phosphates, because even though you are going to be cleaning your dishes 200 feet away from a water source, as you should, you will still, or potentially could still, get soap into the water system, and you don't want to add more phosphates to there. There's a lot of reasons, but you can create an algal bloom, for example, with too much phosphates. And so what we want to do with camp soap is just use Dawn dish soap without the phosphates. I have a little strainer, so when you're done with cooking your meal, you've cleaned all your dishes, if you're straining out gray water, you can strain out all the food bits right into the strainer here and collect that and put that in your garbage bag so that you're packing that out as well, and you're not spreading small bits of food all over your campsite. I have a handful of clothespins for putting up a clothesline, drawing out, and then lastly I have my bellows tube. And if you saw my packing for my 10 essentials, you might have seen this. This is a fantastic little device. I can use this to blow on and blow into this to get a fire going a lot faster, a lot quicker. And then I can also use this if in an emergency or survival situation. You can use this for a solar still to drink out of, or to drink out of little nooks and crannies from rainwater. So, but its primary purpose is just to get a fire going very quickly, very fast, very hot. Okay, so that is my cook set. Next, we'll talk about the cat hole kit and my water pump kit.